guys, so I wanted to talk to you about what you're doing today. First off, the agenda, we have the bell ringer, which you probably noticed I posted like a bunch of bell ringers. If you want to go ahead and do them all, go for it. Don't care. I basically did every bell ringer that was necessary for this month all in one shot. You don't obviously have to do them all at once, but they're all there if you wanted to. So we're going to now talk about activity 6.3. And at this point, you should have simple machines done. Again, if you have any questions for the previous stuff, feel free to email me. I don't get these messages very well, so emailing is the best. All right, so under classwork, okay, so we're going to go to classwork here. Now, here it says below you will either download the functional analysis document and to view it in Microsoft software, or you will open it in Google Docs. Make sure you either use the isometric graph paper for the sketch or just a blank piece of paper. So you will be actually sketching stuff and you will have to take a picture of it and submit it on here or scan it in or save it until we get back to school. I'm hoping we get back at the end of this month and everything's good. If not, we'll figure out a different scenario here. But, you know, taking a picture of it and submitting it on here is the way to go. You do have a rubric. All right, the rubric literally has two things. So the drawing is half of that. Okay, so make sure you're including the drawing in here. All right, so this is this is right above the simple machines in activity 6.3 functional analysis. So we already kind of went through the introductory here. We went through the equipment, and now we're going to go through the procedure. So in this activity, you will analyze the function of a consumer product. Before measurement and dissection, you must theorize how the product functions through non-destructive observation. Non-destructive observation. So we're not destroying anything just yet. You're going to identify your product's name and the company that produces it and answers the following questions. So first I'm going to start with the product name. So the product that I'm going to be using is called a dog treat maze. And it's actually a product from BarkBox. So it's the reason I'm picking this is because it's the only thing I really have that's a very simple object. And the company, even though I got this from BarkBox, the actual company is called Nina Otson, and it's from Sweden. So I'm just going to put that here so we know where it came from. All right. Now, so what's the primary function? So the next question that pops up is what is the purpose or primary function of the object? Now, for me, the primary function of the object is to keep my dog chill. So we have a pit bull and he has massive separation anxiety issues. So we actually use this dog treat maze thing to help him. All right. So I'm going to kind of show you what it looks like. This is what it looks like. Hopefully you can see it because I've actually been having issues going back and forth like this. So hopefully you can actually see it. If not, you'll see it when I show you how to draw it. But so this dog treat thinker dog toy, they have more words on it there. But it's a simple, you know, maze toy. It looks like a Saphir. And basically what I'm doing is I'm putting treats into the hole and he's weeble wobbling this thing all over the place to drop the treats out of the hole. So the primary function of this thing, this dog treat maze thing, is a couple things. So we're going to do this in complete sentences, guys. So the primary function of the dog treat maze is to hold and distribute dog treats to keep the dog entertained while its human is away. This also helps with anxiety-ridden dogs. So again, depending on what your object is that you're using, you may or may not have more than one primary function. Mine is a very simple. You put the treats in, the treats come out. And it's an entertainment factor. If you're using a pair of scissors, maybe your primary function is to do something else, like cutting fabric, or maybe your scissors are special scissors and they can only cut paper. I don't know, whatever have you. So depending on what you're doing, it depends on what your function is. Now the next step here is sketch an isometric pictorial of the product on the attached isometric grid paper and label the individual components. If you're not sure what a particular component is called, then make a logical guess. So at this point, I'm actually going to now show you how to sketch that object. And in this case, I'm going to sketch the dog toy.
Alright guys, so right now I'm going to talk to you about how to draw your object. So just so you guys have a quick reminder, this is the object I am drawing. Again, it's a simple treat toy that wobbles, that the dog can like push around, and a treat pops out. So I do have a treat in there. It hasn't come out yet. So again, it's got like this little screw thing, driver thing in here that it goes around and then the treat pops out. So I'm going to show you, again, I picked something relatively simple to draw. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw this as kind of an isometric view. So if you remember, that's like looking at something from the direction of if I was looking at the corner. Okay? So the first, I don't have isometric grid paper. So we're going to make this work with what I got. Again, if you have just a simple blank sheet, you can use that too. So I'm going to draw my object. Alright, so now that we're done with sketching, and again, I just colored it so that it looked a little better and we could see things a little easier. Alright, so now what we have to do is we have to sketch an isometric pictorial of the product and label the individual components. If you are not sure what a particular component is called, then you make a logical guess. So we're just labeling the components of this, this object. So my components are pretty easy. So this right here is the exit for treats. This right here is the entrance for treats. This right here is the durable, hard, plastic, outer covering. This right here is the plexiglass divider. Let's see. That's pretty much it actually for mine. Mine doesn't really have a lot of working parts to it, unlike the example that is shown on Google Classroom. So there is an example of a stapler on Google Classroom. It's got a little bit more stuff to it. So I'm going to actually label this, and I'm going to call it dog toy treat. And I'm going to sign it, and I'm going to date it. All right, so signed, dated, labeled. It's really that simple, guys. So you're just simply drawing it out, labeling the parts. I did it on just normal grid paper. You can do it on a clear paper, isometric paper, basically whatever you got, that's what you're going to use. Other than that, it's quite that simple. All right, so now we're on to question 3.
So now we're on to question 3, and we're going to be making an educated guess as to how this product operates using Simple Machines terminology to explain the object's sequential operation. So again, I'm using that dog toy, and the product operates basically what happens is I've seen schematics for the product, because if you go onto the BarkBox, it'll actually show you what it looks like on inside. And it's basically an inclined plane and a screw, but with also like the screw looking design. So, and if you remember back to the Simple Machines, that's what we're doing. We're basing it off of those 6 Simple Machines: lever, wheel and axle, inclined plane, pulley, screw, and wedge. All right. So we're basing it off of those different things. And I guess I could say it kind of has a lever, but that would be a very far-reaching thing, just because of how it weeble wobbles. But we're going to focus more on the inclined plane and screw part of this. So the product operates with the Simple Machine inclined plane, which, wow, I can spell today, which turns into much like a, you know what, I don't like this sentence. Restarting. The dog treat or dog toy maze operates. Let's explain first how it works. So operates based upon food being put into the entrance hole and then going through a maze-like structure that uses inclined planes in the manner of a screw, which then, as the dog pushes the toy around, the treat goes through said maze until it pops out via the exit. All right. So again, mine is pretty simple on its function, and it only really includes two components here, which is the inclined plane, which is also what a screw is too. It's just an inclined plane around in a circle. But I could say it also has a lever because it weeble wobbles, but that's like a rarely far-fetched idea. So we're gonna just leave that be for right now. And then we're gonna identify the systems and inputs intended, products, function, and outputs of in the table below. So in this table, I'm simply going to put the inputs, functions, and output. Again, depending on how complicated of a thing you got, depends on how complicated or how large or wording or wordy your entire thing will be. So keep in mind, I'm using a very simple dog toy. If you're using something else, then it's going to be more complicated. So the input is the treats are put into the toy. Okay, so that's how we make it work. The function is as the dog pushes the toy around, treats move in the maze. And then the output is the treat comes out of the maze and the dog is entertained. All right, he's chill, he's entertained. So my input, product, function, and output is pretty simple. Yours might be more complicated depending on exactly what you're using. So what mechanical components are visible? Unfortunately, in my device that I'm using, all my mechanical components are not visible. So my sentence is going to be pretty simple. I'm going to put none of the mechanical components are visible. And I do want you to explain this due to the fact that there is a hard, durable plastic hiding the internal mechanisms. There you go. All right. So even if you don't, if none of the components are visible, please at least, explain why. And then number 6 is, what is it about this device's function that you cannot identify because mechanical components are hidden from plain view? So that's pretty much everything for me. Like, none of the mechanical devices are in plain view. So I cannot identify truly without looking it up what the inside maze looks like because of it being covered up with a hard, durable plastic. But I have to explain how I know what its function is. I know what its function is only based upon the schematics in which I have looked up. Apparently hard durable is one word. No, it's not. It's probably hyphenated. Yes, it's hyphenated. Alright. So again, number 6 is, what is it about the device's function that you cannot identify because the mechanical components are hidden from plain view? In this case, it's the maze. But other than that, guys, it's really that simple. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me. Again, email is the best way to contact me. And again, you're going to probably have more wordy stuff depending on how more complicated your object is. Other than that, that's all I got for you. See you later. Bye.